At this time, the mission to protect the Land of Waves can only be completed by Naruto, Sasuke, Hinata, Zabuza, and Haku. 5 people. To be honest, the strength of the big guys in this team is not bad. The staff is really too small. Calculating everything, there are only about 5 people. If we can bring all the brainwashed members of Orochimaru's group under Naruto's command, then it would be considered a real fortune. But unfortunately, Naruto could only think about this in his heart, completely unable to complete the task. Naruto really personally dealt with their most beloved Lord Orochimaru. Those people all hated Naruto to death. How could they let Naruto work under them? As if sensing Naruto's thoughts, the system immediately issued a mission selection.
Ding.
Host has launched the quest selection system. Complete the quest selection and below, you can get the corresponding quest reward. Choice 1. Tell Kimimaro, your former boss Orochimaru was killed by me. You scum like me? Why don't you immediately submit to me? Complete the mission to get the reward. 5 spicy fart. System. You what do you mean by choosing a reward? Hearing about the first place reward, Naruto couldn't help but warmly greet the system. The system shamelessly chose not to look, and continued to announce the second optional mission in Naruto's mind. Second place selection. Bring Kimimaro back to the Wave Country's camp. Complete the mission to get the reward. Mangekyo Sharingan Kodo Amatsukami. Usage period reduced by 2.5 years. The second selection of rewards is also similar in appearance. Really? With Kimimaro as that kind of brainless guardian, how could Naruto convince him? Even if the technique is at max level, it is impossible to let Naruto kill Orochimaru and make Kimimaro willingly submit. Naruto helplessly sighed, not looking straight at the mission selection system. Turned around and walked towards Zabuza. Zabuza was in so much pain that his face turned pale. Large drops of cold sweat continuously appeared on his forehead, but he kept his teeth clenched, not allowing himself to make a sound. How is it? Is this pain unbearable? Then your parasitic ninjutsu is nothing more than this. Next, where should I stab? As he spoke, Zabuza's arms trembled, using the sharp tip of the kunai to run, as if he could stab himself again at any moment. Then give the lower abdomen a good slash. You pervert. Monster. He looked closely at Zabuza's broken arm, his eyes filled with fear. Just as he saw Zabuza waving his hand and preparing to stab his body, he finally couldn't bear the pressure in his heart and quickly pulled out from Zabuza's body.
Cut.
Just as I expected, Zabuza's mouth revealed a cold smile, stabbed the kunai towards his stomach. Suddenly changed direction, strongly stabbed towards the right near the chest.
Puffy.
Unexpectedly caught off guard, almost got a sneak attack. The kunai did not enter the body at all, and the half-lying body on the ground spat out a large mouthful of blood mist. This bastard. Before he finished speaking, he fell to the ground with a thud, without making any sound. Awesome carrot. Naruto gave Zabuza a thumbs up, expressing his utmost admiration for his act of exchanging injury for injury. This kind of parasitic technique is extremely perverted, making it difficult for people to guard against. But Zabuza being able to think of this kind of countermeasure is not something that ordinary people can do. Naruto. Hurry up and help me save Haku. That guy is trapped by that fat bastard. Zabuza's face was pale, he was panting heavily. He covered the bloody wound on his stomach and said to Naruto,
Haku.
Naruto was a little stunned, only then remembering that he had not seen Haku's figure. Turning his head to look at Jirobo, he found that he was currently holding both hands on the dirt ball, maintaining the operation of his chakra ninjutsu. Hey, fatty bastard, quickly release my brother by. Naruto slowly approached the past. Disgusting. You bastard. Jirobo clenched his teeth. Seeing Naruto, a bit of reluctance rose in his heart. After all, he is different from Kimimaro, although relying on the cursed seal in both forms his strength increases greatly. But he admitted that his strength was far different from Kimimaro's, and he didn't have a single bit of confidence in Kimimaro. Moreover, the matter of Naruto instantly killing Kadamaru on the red-tiled roof of Konoha village, even now, still makes Jirobo's memory as fresh as ever. He knew he was definitely not Naruto's match. But when it came to completing Orochimaru's orders, he definitely couldn't escape. If I don't return to receive punishment, I will truly live a life worse than death. Bastard. Jirobo gritted his teeth, withdrew his hands, and gave up on maintaining his chakra on the ground. But he did not retreat, but quickly rushed towards Naruto. Shoulder. Body slightly leaning forward, Jirobo used his strong shoulders to push Naruto and the ship. Too slow. Even without using 8 Gates release, Jirobo and the ship falling into Naruto's eyes. It was like they were playing in slow motion. This is the absolute strength gap between the two sides. The level difference is too far. There is no way to make up for the bad luck. In the middle of Naruto's jump, he casually dodged Jirobo's battleship. The moment his feet landed, Naruto's palm chakra flowed around, and a rotating chakra sphere condensed out. Rasengan.
Boom, boom, tilde, tilde, tilde.
The powerful Rasengan slammed like crazy at Jirobo's back center.
Ah!
Jirobo's mouth sprayed fresh blood, and he screamed miserably. The solid mass of flesh in the back was instantly burned into a huge hole, and the body was followed by a huge chakra flow of air, flying straight forward and rushing out. When Jirobo's plump body hit a large rock, it finally stopped and slowly slid down the rock. But when hit by a heavy blow, he no longer had the ability to resist. The gray-black color on her body quickly receded, and immediately after that, the dark Kurenai's long hair also rapidly shrank and shortened. The cursed seal's 2 forms were dispelled. Haku was trapped in the ground, and a large hole was broken open by someone. The earth could no longer hold on, and with a rustling sound, it crumbled and sank downwards. Haku crawled out of a pile of mud and saw Naruto not far away. Naruto-kun. But Haku at this time also had a large amount of chakra sucked away. His body was a bit weak. He turned his head to look at Zabuza on the other side, and found that Sakan and his right hand had both died. Only then did the worry in his heart subside. That's great. Naruto quickly went to Haku's side, using one hand to help him stand up. How is it? Can you still endure? Haku nodded slightly. Yes, thank you, Naruto-kun. Naruto smiled. I really didn't think that with your and Zabuza's strength, you would actually fall for those 3 guys' tricks. Haku shook his head in shame. It's true that I was subjective, but on Mr. Zabuza's side, I also thought he could deal with those 2 people. Seeing that the shadow clone group on the other side had been almost completely consumed by Kimimaro, Naruto did not say anything more to these 2 people. He grabbed one hand and activated the Flying Thunder God technique.
Wow.
A figure flashed in the middle, and all 3 people disappeared from sight. In the next blink of an eye, Naruto, carrying Zabuza and Haku, appeared on the grass. Mr. Zabuza, Tsunami ran forward with a caring expression, taking out the medical box that had been prepared long ago, wanting to bandage and treat Zabuza. Naruto glanced at Zabuza, meaning you are so lucky. Zabuza replied with an awkward smile, his face turning red. Looks like this guy also has his shy moments. Without saying anything more to this side, Naruto once again dodged and disappeared from the spot. In the next blink of an eye, Naruto appeared on the other side of the lake, both hands clasped in front of him, silently watching Kimimaro finally defeat a shadow clone. Naruto slowly said, Kimimaro, right. Your former boss Orochimaru was killed by me. You still want to continue to oppose me? Host's statement is wrong. Please follow the dialogue assigned by the first selection of the mission, and say to Kimimaro, your former boss Orochimaru was killed by me. You are such a scum. Why don't you immediately submit to me? Complete the mission to get the reward. 5 spicy fart. Damn it.
System.
You. Naruto was so angry that he cursed loudly. How could this shameless system still have this kind of gap? What did you say? Kimimaro heard the news of Orochimaru's death. His first reaction was disbelief. He lowered his head, a pair of eyes covered by that long white hair, his body constantly trembling. I, Zetsu, absolutely, cannot have anyone speak ill of Lord Orochimaru behind my back. Even if you are the Kage-level character in Kabuto's mouth, today I will definitely kill you. As he spoke, Kimimaro suddenly raised his head, his face filled with anger, and his eyes were filled with bloodshot veins. Naruto somewhat reluctantly spread his arms. Look. This is the product of being completely brainwashed by Orochimaru. Just hearing Orochimaru speak ill of him, there would appear this kind of reaction like the ancestral grave was dug up. Not to mention Naruto is the one who killed Orochimaru the murderer. With Kimimaro's personality, it definitely can't be for Naruto's benefit. So this time the system issued a mission. It was nothing more than a chicken tendon. Naruto also had no intention of living to let Kimimaro leave. While speaking, Kimimaro tightly grasped the spine bone in his hand. bent down, and charged straight towards Naruto. Shikatsumiyako Eightfold Law Dance. This time Kimamaro's speed was abnormally fast, already at a distance behind the attack. His left hand in the middle held a bone sword continuously waving its sharp spikes towards Naruto. The right hand in the middle holds a piece of spine bone, like a long snake. Has extremely strong flexibility, using all kinds of cunning angles to wrap around Naruto. Kimamaro's strength is indeed very extraordinary. Even with Naruto, a ninja with refined martial arts training, without activating the Eight Gates release, he would still be hit by this continuous dual attack, only having the chance to dodge with all his might. With no time to spare to counterattack. Rustle. Left and right dodged, Kimamaro's bone whip surrounded Naruto's back, using a cunning angle, tightly wrapped around Naruto's body. Go to hell. Kimamaro suddenly shouted. The bone sword in his hand quickly swung towards Naruto. At the same time as the bone sword stabbed out from the air, white bones grew out of the entire right arm, rapidly condensing into a sharp bone hammer. Let the attack range be extended. In the blink of an eye, it already reached Naruto's face. On the lawn, the crowd watching the battle all wiped a cold sweat for Naruto. But the scene of fresh blood splattered did not happen. Ba sound. Naruto turned into orange lightning and disappeared from sight. In the next blink of an eye, Naruto appeared more than 10 meters behind. Beside the foot on the ground, there was also a specially made Hiraishin kunai stuck in it. Your strength is indeed not bad. No wonder Sasuke grew up so quickly, but you still pounced him from behind the mountain. Naruto said indifferently, looking at Kimamaro with a hint of appreciation in his eyes. Although the reason Naruto was tied up by him just now was entirely because Naruto was used to relying on Hiraishin and didn't fight back with all his might. But being able to use this lightning force to tie Naruto up is enough to prove Kimamaro's formidable strength. Uzumaki Naruto. I want to ask you, are those words you just said true? Is Lord Orochimaru really dead? Kimamaro regained a bit of his composure and asked Naruto in a low voice. Naruto spread his arms indifferently. Do I need to lie to you? On the contrary, I have no intention of letting you leave this place alive, so what does it matter if I tell you? Hideous. Hideous. How could Lord Orochimaru be killed by someone like you? Hearing this correct answer, Kimamaro's emotions completely collapsed. The pair of green eyes instantly became congested, turning blood red, as if it was a symptom of some kind of eye disease. Looking a bit frightening. Collect. Kimamaro raised his left hand, and from the tip of the huge bone hammer in his left hand, he shot out two bone swords. The bone sword carried the sound of tearing wind, and at great speed rushed towards Naruto's body. Regardless of whether the attack was effective or not, Kimamaro once again bent down and charged forward, going straight for Naruto. This kind of sword bone is shiny and can be used for sneak attacks. Naturally, there was no way to pose a threat to Naruto. After casually turning around to avoid the past, Naruto crossed his arms and stood in front of him. A series of blue veins suddenly popping out on his forehead. 8 gates done, Jia 6th level gate. Open.
Boom tilde tilde tilde.
The silvery green steam shot out from within the body, blowing the surrounding mud, bricks, and rocks outwards. In a moment, a green steam energy shot straight towards the horizon. Naruto's robe was fluttering from the wind. Kimamaro rushed forward in front of the situation, but because he was hit by a dust cloud that covered his eyes, he slowed down a bit. Retired. Naruto's foot suddenly stepped on the ground, turning into an afterimage and disappearing from sight. In the next blink of an eye, Naruto was already in front of Kimamaro. The powerful fist swung out, straight towards Kimamaro's chest. Because the 6th gate of the 8 gates stun jaw punches are too fast, the fists were already rubbing against the air, creating a dazzling light. So fast. Kimamaro's face was filled with terror. He felt that his body had no way to catch up with Naruto's speed and could only urge his Kekkei Genkai ability. Let the chest give birth to several hard white bones to block Naruto's fist attack. Break. The powerful fist slammed like crazy on the white bones above, emitting a heavy sound. Although it did not cause any direct damage to Kimamaro. But this heavy blow, along with the aftershock of the flames hitting his chest, still made Kimamaro's expression change, and a sharp pain came from his chest. Immediately his entire body was hit by inertia and flew backwards. Retired. Without waiting, Kimamaro flew backwards and fell to the ground. Naruto once again dodged and disappeared from the same spot, once again brandishing his fiery fist, attacking directly towards Kimamaro's back. Break! Although Kimamaro had no way to catch up in speed and could not react with his limbs, he was still in the air, still urging his Kekkei Genkai power. White bones grow from the outside of the body to block attacks. Break! 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 Next, it was Naruto's turn to hit the sands of time. Each time, Kimamaro was either sent flying backwards or sent flying into the sky. Naruto was able to immediately chase after him, swinging his fists and feet to attack, smashing into Kimamaro's body. Although Kimamaro relied on the white bones, he did not receive direct damage from the attack. But just relying on the aftershocks of the fiery fist still made Kimamaro continuously vomit blood, looking extremely miserable. Oh my god. What kind of attack method is this? I can't even see Uzumaki Naruto's shadow. Is this speed really something humans can achieve? How did Lord Uzumaki Naruto do it? On the lawn, the workers watching the battle all had mouths so long and round, they could all hold a chicken egg. They occasionally swallowed hard, truly unable to believe everything they saw. The current situation is, Kimamaro was beaten all over the place and sent flying. Naruto immediately transformed into a green afterimage, chasing Kimamaro everywhere and fighting like crazy. Inari inside waved the wooden kunai in his hand, his face smug as he said, "My big brother Uzumaki Naruto is naturally formidable. He is the man who wants to establish a ninja village in our wave country. His strength is naturally not comparable to that of ordinary people." Everyone saw Inari's stinky appearance and felt that this little devil was somewhat adorable. It was as if the person currently beating Kimamaro was himself. His divine aura and appearance made people unable to help but laugh out loud. More than 100 meters in a forest, a figure wearing yellow ant glasses, hiding behind the dense forest, frowned and carefully observed the battle happening outside. Is Lord Orochimaru really dead? Yakushi Kabuto's glasses lenses flashed white light. His entire face was filled with disbelief. Although he knew Orochimaru had many tricks up his sleeve, he couldn't just kill him. But in Orochimaru lost both arms, there was no way to use ninjutsu in the situation below. If we really encounter a ninja like Naruto, I'm afraid that even if Guren is there will be no way to hold Orochimaru back. Although Yakushi Kabuto was unwilling to believe this truth in his heart. But in his heart, he still had a bad feeling. Hiding behind the scenes and not making a move, Yakushi Kabuto was on guard against Naruto suddenly appearing. Not thinking that the battle time had not passed long, Naruto, just as he thought, used Hiration to suddenly kill back. Calculate. Jirobo and Sakan have both lost their lives. Kimamaro, even if he survives, probably won't be able to hold out for long. I'd better leave this place of trouble first and return to the Sound Village base to investigate to the end. Yakushi Kabuto muttered to himself, then glanced at Kimamaro again, silently shrinking back, disappearing into the dense forest. Another side. Naruto hit the sand pile action still continues. Kimamaro, although still stubbornly resisting, was now covered in wounds. Many exposed areas of the flesh were burned by the fire fist, leaving large wounds. Immediately send you on your way. Naruto once again squeezed himself under Kimamaro, lifting his leg. He used all his strength to kick, sending Kimamaro flying into the air. Immediately Naruto's knees bent slightly, he suddenly jumped up and arrived behind Kimamaro. Each hand took out a roll of bandage, wrapped it tightly around Kimamaro's body and pressed it down tightly. Inside the lotus, in the middle of the high-speed rotation in the air, Naruto tightly held onto Kimamaro's body, in the middle of the high-speed rotation in the air, falling upside down. Disgusting. Kimamaro gritted his teeth, feeling only confusion before his eyes. He could feel Naruto hugging his body tightly behind him, wanting to activate his Kekkei Genkai ability, using his bones to pierce Naruto's body. But Kimamaro was still seriously injured. His body's reactions were already a bit slow. Before he could even complete his counterattack plan, he felt his head pounding like crazy on the ground. A loud bang. Kimamaro's head instantly bloomed, and he stabbed straight into the mud. But Naruto was chasing before falling to the ground, both hands on the ground, shaking himself a few times and jumping away to escape. Deal. Finish the job. Naruto patted the dust between his hands, turned around and prepared to leave. But before Naruto could go far, a group of people watching the battle from the opposite side of the lake all had fear in their eyes and waved their hands towards Naruto, shouting loudly. Inari inside. Brother Naruto. That guy is up again. He's still alive. Hyuga Hinata. Naruto-kun. Be careful. Actually, long before they waved their hands, Naruto also heard something unusual behind his back. Turning his head to look behind him, he saw that Kimimaro, who had already fallen over, had both legs pulled him back and once again turned around and jumped up. He covered his mouth and coughed out a large amount of fresh blood, as if his bloodline disease had acted up again. The ultimate meaning of Shikatsumiyaku, the early, decisive dance. Ignoring his injuries, Kimimaro squatted down and suddenly slapped the ground with both palms. Crack, crack. From his body, all around on the ground, large patches of sharp bones grew, piercing through the ground and rapidly expanding outward. Each of those bones shot up into the sky, reaching more than 10 meters in height. The dense level was indeed like a sea of bones spreading outwards, instantly enveloping the surrounding area within a radius of several hundred meters. Faced with the countless bones that were attacking him, Naruto did not immediately choose to use the Flying Thunder God technique to escape. Just because Naruto doesn't know clearly the scope of Kimimaro's ninjutsu, to what extent can it expand? If Naruto flies to the other side of the lake right now, Kimimaro will let the bone forest grow to the other side of Tazana's house. I'm afraid that the hundreds of people on the other side will instantly become skewered and grilled, their bodies pierced by those dense bones. What a terrible guy. While talking, Naruto also relied on the speed of the 8 Gates release, flying backwards and dodging to retreat. But even though Naruto's speed was fast enough to create afterimages, it was still not as fast as the bone forest growth rate. Seeing that he could not avoid it in time, Naruto knelt down and let go of Sora, who jumped up, first dodging the sharp bone that was stabbed under his foot. Before the bone had penetrated his body, Naruto once again swung his hand and threw a specially made Hiraishin kunai toward Sora. Collection. Kunai flew up several dozen meters. Flying Thunder God technique activated. Naruto also shouted and disappeared from the spot, already at Kunai's side. Lord Orochimaru will absolutely not be defeated by someone like you. A roar carrying endless anger echoed in the middle of this bone forest. Immediately after, Kimimaro's lower body was surrounded by a large white bone vortex, quickly following the more than 10-meter tall bone spike flying up. Both of his hands held a large, sharp bone hammer, swinging it straight towards Naruto's body. Peacock direction. Naruto probably won't just sit around waiting to die. The moment he discovered Kimimaro, he immediately activated the most powerful attack method of the 6th gate of 8 gates. Naruto's fists continuously swung out, rubbing against the air, creating streaks of hot flames. As Naruto's fists became faster and faster, fiery flames continuously rose from his fists. In a flash, a fist image carrying a dazzling light of fire, like a piece of a peacock barrier, smashed towards Kimimaro's body like crazy. Break, break, break. Every punch that landed on Kimimaro's body left a fist mark on the surface of that dark-skinned hand. Following that, tiny fire fist shadows, like rain, rained down crazily on his body. The other one who rushed forward also stopped abruptly, blood spurted out from his mouth, falling towards the piece of bone he had made. Puffy. Now that the body has reached its limit, it finally cannot muster up any strength to resist. Kimimaro leisurely closed his eyes in the air until his body was pierced by those dense bones. And the last trace of light from his life finally receded. Limbs weakly fell down, no longer any sound. Wow. Flying Thunder God technique activated. Naruto chased before his body fell into the sea of bones, turning into orange lightning and disappearing on the spot. Next a blink of an eye, Naruto's figure appeared beside Hinata.
Naruto-kun.
Are you okay? Seeing Naruto return safely, Hinata's worries finally subsided. She threw herself into Naruto's arms, hugging Naruto's body tightly. I'm fine, don't worry. He still has no way to hurt me. Naruto gently patted Hinata's back, whispering comfortingly. And those workers, the uncles, were still staring blankly at the other side of the bone forest, their eyes filled with disbelief. What kind of level of battle is this? Even the front door of Big Brother Tazana's house is completely gone. Fortunately, Lord Naruto chased this monster back. Otherwise, I'm afraid we would all have lost our lives here today. The crowd was discussing loudly. After a while of exchanging information, waiting for Naruto to destroy all his shadow clones and retreat, everyone finally realized that Naruto had returned victorious. On the face, the joy was evident on the face. The workers' uncles first experienced this kind of large-scale fighting, and their fighting spirit, which had been exhausted by life, was once again ignited with enthusiasm. A group of sparkling eyes looked at Naruto, their eyes filled with admiration.
That.
Naruto-sama, I didn't know that you started the ninja school at the Land of Waves, and that in the future we middle-aged people might not be able to join to learn ninjutsu. That's right, this kind of fighting is really terrifying. If I could have this kind of powerful strength, I'm afraid I would laugh in my dreams. The workers all spoke to each other, firing off questions at Naruto. Naruto looked helplessly towards Haku, revealing a look of needing help. Haku just had his chakra absorbed, his body had no injuries. After resting and taking several rounds of military food, his body has almost recovered. Bach revealed a trace of a smile, somewhat schadenfreude as he looked at Naruto. It's like saying, let you brat continue to show off like this, that's great, gain a group of middle-aged fans, let's see how you end up next. But this Haku person is always soft-hearted, and also very chivalrous. A moment later, he began to help Naruto break the siege, waving his hand towards the workers and shouting, "Uncles, don't surround Naruto like that. He just returned from a battle. His body is very tired. I'll help you solve these problems." As he spoke, Haku used force to wink at Naruto, signaling Naruto to go back into the room and avoid it for a bit. Yes. Naruto gratefully forgot about Haku. Without saying a word, hugged Hinata in his arms and activated Hiration.
Wow.
The noisy sound in my ears disappeared and I couldn't hear anything anymore. Naruto and Hinata's figures flashed and appeared in the living room.
Naruto-kun.
I really didn't expect you to be so welcomed here. Hinata looked at Naruto with a smile on her face and sat down on the sofa in the living room. Naruto sat down beside her and reached out to pinch her pink little face. You're starting to make fun of me too? I'm itching to see you, little girl. As he spoke, Naruto's other hand was not idle either, scratching Hinata's small waist.
Ah. Naruto-kun.
Don't make a fuss, I beg you. Unexpectedly, Hinata was still especially afraid of itching. After being scratched twice, she immediately laughed nonstop and lay down on the sofa, hitting Naruto's hand in protest. In fact, Naruto clearly understood in his heart that the reason why these villagers of the Wave Country would use honorifics towards him was entirely because Naruto had done them a favor. The money is from the Wave Country that created the ninja school. Moreover, he was willing to spend money to invite the children of Song Chi-kwak to school. What kind of person must he be? With enough talent to do this? But if the system hadn't suddenly announced such a mission, Naruto really wouldn't have planned to stay in the Land of Waves for too long. However, this place is extremely poor and surrounded by sea, so the income is basically zero. If you really want to establish a ninja village and develop, it's better to go to another small country on the ninja continent. Even if it is the Kingdom of Tai or the Kingdom of Birds, which are the few small countries in the original work. Because of geographical advantages, they are much stronger than the Kingdom of Waves. Naruto and Hinata played around in the living room for a while.
Tatsuna. Haku.
And the others carried the injured Sasuke and walked into the room. Zabuza was helped forward by Tsunami, not knowing if this guy was really arrogant or just showing off in front of a woman. Stunned at this kind of serious injury situation, limped over. After Naruto sat down opposite him, Zabuza frowned and said in a low voice, "Originally we had already built 3 sections with 1 room. But now it was completely ruined by that guy called Kimimaro. This time we have to start over again?" Naruto now recalled. Just now Kimimaro's ninjutsu had covered the entire 1-kilometer area opposite Tazana's house. That's right. This guy is really, even in death, he wants to make it difficult for us. Naruto exclaimed. Haku shook his head slightly. I'm afraid the trouble is not that simple. Right now Mr. Tazana's house is locked. If we want to start building the base again, I'm afraid we'll have to dig out all those bones first. Naruto slapped his thigh. His expression immediately turned bad. Isn't that right? That Kimimaro guy is really hateful. Inari stepped forward and shook Naruto's pants, saying, Can't Big Brother Naruto summon a lot of clones? Just let Big Brother Naruto use the clones to dig up those bones. Naruto tapped Inari's head and said with a smile, Your little head is really smart. This is also the best solution for now. Just relying on Tazana's bunch of old men's plans. I'm afraid that even if we give them a few months, they still won't be able to dig out all those dense bones. Next, continuously for a week, Naruto did not go out to practice physical technique. The clone group went out to dig for bones. The physical labor was so tiring that it affected the main body. Naruto himself, although he sat at home every day, chatting with everyone, also took some time to look at the medical ninjutsu handbook Tsunade gave him. But every time just after dark, the clone group is cancelled. Naruto would immediately become lethargic from his energetic state, wanting to return to his room and sleep. Fortunately, a week passed, and several thousand Naruto shadow clones worked. Plus the help of those workers. The Tizana house on the other side of the river was finally completely cleaned up. The road disappeared without a trace. The land had been thoroughly cleared and turned over, as if a special mining operation had been carried out. Jingle, jingle. The hammering sound occasionally rang out. Tizana Lake House, several kilometers away, the workers' uncles started to get busy with their old jobs again. The original half-built base was destroyed, this time under Tizana's arrangement. They smartly chose to place the foundation at a place at the foot of the mountain. That local terrain is a bit deserted, but it is the most suitable location for a ninja school and base. The deserted area also represents that it will be quite quiet normally. The children can rest assured in the classroom to go to class, and will not be affected. By the lake, Zabuza held a fishing rod in his hand, sitting on a small table, his eyes staring at the fish bubbles floating on the water surface. Naruto sat to the side, boredly playing with Tizana's little black milk hound. The little black milk hound stuck out its tongue and licked Naruto's paw that hadn't been cleaned for 3 days. Immediately, its face turned purple, its tongue tilted to one side. It took several heavy gasps, then suddenly foamed at the mouth, closed its eyes and fell to the ground. The cool breeze blew gently. The morning sunlight shone on the body, making people feel exceptionally warm and comfortable. After a long time, the fish bladder floating on the water surface was pulled to dive underwater. Zabuza's face showed joy as he quickly picked up the can and went up. Rustle a bit. A carp weighing about half a kilo was pulled out of the water, constantly wriggling and struggling on the hook, and was quickly pulled over by Zabuza. Naruto, you want fish? Zabuza put the fish in the water tank, turned his head to look at Naruto, and said, seemingly noticing the unusual little black dog. Zabuza frowned and asked, what's wrong with little black? It looks like he's been poisoned. Naruto hurriedly put on his shoes, embarrassedly smiling. It's nothing. He just suffered some internal injuries, he'll be fine soon. Zabuza silently shook his head. You better pray that little black is fine. It really is the treasure within Inari. If the Inari within cries out to you, then I won't be able to catch him. Naruto fished out the carp from the water tank and looked at Zabuza's head, opening his Byakugan.
How?
This one hasn't even married his mother yet, but has already started to protect the king. Naruto took out his kunai and scratched a long wound on the carp's belly. Immediately the carp's tail was in so much pain that it kept wagging, blood gushing out from the wound. Naruto was not impatient. He put the kunai away carefully. Just like that, he grabbed the carp, letting it struggle desperately to arrange itself. Brat, I know you're in pain. Just wait for me, Naruto-sama, to use my healing ninjutsu to cure you. That's right. After spending these days watching Tsunade give me the medical ninjutsu introductory handbook, Naruto was already excited, wanting to start conducting preliminary testing. Actually, these days are so boring. Naruto also asked Haku about the teaching materials he bought back. There were teaching materials related to medical ninjutsu. By Dai took Naruto. In the pile of books that looked like a small mountain he bought, he searched for a long time, finally found 2 copies of medical ninjutsu handbooks. But Haku's place to buy things is widely circulated teaching materials on the market. Inside the medical knowledge-related side, there are only a few things related to bandaging, first aid, wound treatment, and so on. The same kind of knowledge that Tsunade gave in the medical ninjutsu handbook, in the teaching materials that Haku bought, was completely unrelated. Therefore, Naruto can almost confirm. Tsunade gave me the medical ninjutsu handbook. It is definitely her treasured copy. Inside there are related to therapeutic aspects of knowledge, explained to the highest degree of detail. Even for each important issue above, many solutions are listed. This is enough to see that Tsunade truly wants to accept Naruto and make him her disciple. Otherwise, such an important medical ninjutsu handbook cannot be given away casually. Finally, the carp in his hand seemed to have lost its strength in struggling, so Naruto hurriedly placed it on the ground. To put the wound face up, then roll up the sleeves and prepare to open it. Both palms slightly stretched outward. In mind recalling the contents of the medical ninjutsu handbook. Begin to stimulate the internal chakra in the palm of your hand. Mr. 6-colored chakra energy appeared in Naruto's palm, starting to flow irregularly. This is not right. Tsunade and Shizen-senpai's treatment was not like this. Naruto muttered to himself, quickly realizing the problem. When Shizune and Tsunade were performing treatment, the green chakra in their palms became even more even and thin. Unlike Naruto, this form, chakra will appear irregular vibrations. Based on the general meaning of the contents of the medical ninjutsu handbook above, healing ninjutsu requires the healing ninja to stimulate the chakra energy within the body, causing the chakra to reach an extremely gentle form and stick to the palm of the hand. Again, use chakra to cover the injured person's wound, allowing the wound cells to rapidly divide, using this to achieve a healing effect. If it was Naruto's current state, such a large amount of chakra would be poured into the injured person's wound. I'm afraid that not only will it not heal the injured person, but it will also cause the chakra flow to be too great, causing the injured person's wounds to explode. And the injury will instead become more serious.
Puffy.
Sure enough, Naruto's 2 palms stuck to the carp's belly. After the green chakra covered the carp's wound, the wound that was originally only 8 centimeters long was instantly torn open, turning into several 10 centimeters long. The blood that had already healed stopped flowing out again. Naruto, are you using healing ninjutsu or murder ninjutsu? Zabuza on the side felt cold sweat pouring down his forehead. He had already made up his mind that no matter what kind of injury appeared in the future, he absolutely could not let Naruto treat him. This looks really unreliable. In case of injury, the originally non-life-threatening injury, after undergoing Naruto's treatment, will instead die sooner. Stop talking nonsense. Hurry up and give me some answers. I want to continue practicing. Naruto did not give up. Taking advantage of the fact that this carp was not dead yet, he once again started circulating chakra between his palms, hoping to heal it. Zabuza looked at Naruto's series of movements and couldn't help but shake his head. What a good carp, didn't think it would be killed by someone using medical ninjutsu. What kind of karma did it create in its previous life? Just as Zabuza was about to look away and continue focusing on his fishing work, he suddenly felt something was wrong. This time Naruto seemed to really be treating that fish. Just because Zabuza saw the carp's 10-odd centimeter wound, surrounded by green chakra energy, was slowly closing up. This. Naruto, did you really succeed? Naruto did not answer immediately, just focused on the movements of his hands, trying to clearly remember how much chakra he released this time. For a healing ninja, the most difficult thing is chakra control. This one ability is enough to judge how far this medical ninja's knowledge of medical ninjutsu can reach. Shizen has followed Tsunade for many years. Logically speaking, Shizen has also learned all of Tsunade's abilities. But why is Shizen always one level behind, unable to reach Tsunade's level? The reason might not be because Shizen's chakra control level is unable to reach Tsunade's level. It was also Naruto who chose the second mission and obtained the ability, chakra refinement and mastery. This kind of chakra control level not only can use Tsunade Monster Force Fist, at the same time, it is also a medical ninjutsu capable of reaching the pinnacle of qualifications. Naruto seems to have already mastered this ability if he wants to use healing ninjutsu. He only needs a little guidance and can quickly master the essence of healing ninjutsu. Although it is said that reaching Tsunade's state is temporarily impossible. But if you want to perform some simple treatment, it's not a big deal at all. Naruto, this guy actually did it. It's really unimaginable. Zabuza looked at the other carp's wound completely healed. His whole person was stunned on the spot with his eyes wide open. He could not have thought that the wound that had just returned to the carp that had caused Naruto to bleed profusely would be completely healed in the next moment. How does this situation work? Looking at the medical ninjutsu handbook for a few days, without anyone teaching him, he learned medical ninjutsu by himself? Is this person a bit too perverted? Learning everything so quickly? How is it you know how good I am? Naruto chuckled, took the carp that was jumping around in his hand again, and threw it into the lake. No need. Zabuza wanted to intervene, but realized it was too late. The carp jumped into the lake with one head, happily wriggling its tail as it dived deeper. Zabuza's face turned dark with anger, his head stiffly turned around, using the same murderous gaze to glare at Naruto. Naruto, I fished until noon and only caught one fish, and you just let me release it like that?
Naruto smiled awkwardly. I'm sorry.
Maybe I'm just naturally kind-hearted. Without thinking it through, I just threw it away. Zabuza couldn't help but take the Byakugan's shift. You motherfucker, this is also called kind-hearted? A few days ago, Sakan and Jirobo, which one of you didn't shoot to death on the spot? I don't see where your kindness goes. On the small wooden bridge, a short-sleeved figure in a blue robe slowly walked over. He kept long black hair, the back of his clothes embroidered with red and white half-half round fan symbol. Was the last orphan of the Uchiha clan, Uchiha Sasuke. Naruto, what are you doing here? From a distance, Sasuke asked. Don't do anything. Let's Zabuza fish while I practice healing ninjutsu. Naruto said indifferently, as if he suddenly remembered something, and asked, That's right, Sasuke. Are your injuries healed now? Sasuke's steps were slightly stiff. His eyes carried a hint of vigilance as he asked, About right? Okay, what do you want to do? Hee. Sasuke, let me heal you. Naruto was like a hunter looking for prey, using that hungry gaze to examine Sasuke's whole body from top to bottom. Sasuke felt a cold chill in his heart and couldn't help but shiver. You sure? As for Naruto's latest learning of medical ninjutsu, Sasuke is still very clear. A few days before the Sound Village invasion, Sasuke was the only one who was seriously injured. Therefore, these days Sasuke could only lie in bed to rest and heal his wounds, and had not been cultivating. As for what Naruto and his group were doing, Sasuke also knew very well. But Naruto and Tenten were just self-studying from a book and had never done any actual work. Such a person can really treat his injuries? Naruto seriously nodded. Of course I'm sure. I just cured a fish, if you don't believe me, asked Zabuza. Yes. Zabuza smiled stiffly, nodding his head at Sasuke continuously. He thought to himself, you just cured a fish. You really just made that fish wound tear and expand, and a flash blood was spraying crazily. How come you didn't mention a word? Then okay. Sasuke looked at the two of them with half-believing eyes, then immediately sat down beside Naruto. Although he still didn't trust Naruto too much, Sasuke knew that Naruto wouldn't harm him. So, he didn't say much. Naruto lifted Sasuke's clothes and began to examine his injuries. This guy was beaten up so badly by Kimimaro that day, wounds and cuts could be seen all over his body. Furthermore, until now, the back was wrapped in bandages and had 3 wounds, and one could still vaguely see bloodlines seeping out. Naruto also had no choice but to release Sasuke's bandages. Just look up the memory of the fish from the second treatment. Transport it to the body's chakra, circulating throughout the 2 hands in the middle. Mister. As Naruto pressed his palms against Sasuke's back, a faint chakra buzzing sound also rang out. This is when the ninja heals an injury, it will always make a small noise. Just because chakra stimulates the patient's body cells, it rapidly divides. Both sides were feeling a little nervous. Naruto was using all his strength to heal, and sweat was pouring out of his forehead. About 10 minutes passed. The 3 wounds on Sasuke's back had all closed and scabbed over. Sasuke, the back of the big spear is done. Naruto's mouth corners revealed a trace of a smile, unable to help but feel a little proud in his heart. I am indeed a genius, after only trying twice. I have already mastered the healing ninjutsu skill. Sasuke tried to move his body a bit, when he felt that the tearing pain was not coming from behind his back. He finally couldn't help but show fear on his face. He turned his head and looked at Naruto with disbelief. Naruto, you actually already possess healing ninjutsu. Be a little sincere, keep a low profile. Naruto smiled and waved his sleeve, but the smug look on his face had completely betrayed his intentions. Sasuke sighed helplessly and said calmly, I used to always love myself compared to you, but now it seems that no matter in which aspect, you and I have a huge gap. Naruto heard this and immediately didn't know what to do next. Sasuke has always been a very competitive guy. If Naruto says something wrong and provokes him, then it won't be good. But Naruto's hand movements did not stop, continuing to stimulate the chakra energy within his body, allowing the green chakra to circle around his palms, starting to heal the injuries on Sasuke's other body parts. Sasuke let out a soft sigh. A smile appeared at the corner of his mouth, and continued, Naruto, now I also understand, on the contrary, I am not comparable to you, but you are my closest friend. If I am in trouble, you will also try your best to help me, right? Naruto was a bit stunned, a bit surprised. He raised his head to look at Sasuke. What is the situation? This guy is really always arrogant. Uchiha Sasuke, long AO Tian Uchiha clan. When will he start to change his personality? Of course I will help you. We are teammates here. No matter who is in trouble, I will do my best to help. Naruto nodded and said. This word made Sasuke and Zabuza, who were focusing on fishing, both of them were body a little moved. A trace of emotion was born in the heart. Nainasuke's mouth corners revealed a trace of a smile. He looked up at Naruto in surprise and pleaded. So, Naruto, I want you to guide my cultivation, once again. But this time, cultivating is not like last time, so carelessly throwing it to me. A set of 8 gates and armor only taught the cultivation method, then turned indifferent to me. I need you to guide me in my actions. I believe you can do this. Hearing Sasuke's words, Zabuza's eyes widened, and he couldn't help but turn his head to look at the two people on his side. What is the situation? Throwing a set of 8 gates dunjia only cultivation method. Better to throw according to your will? This 8 gates release technique, although not considered very famous in the ninja world for the time being. But Zabuza still had some understanding. And a few days ago Naruto used the 8 gates release technique to display its speed and power, making Zabuza's eyes red with anger. Maybe Zabuza also knows. He is still outside the ninja village after all. Although after these past few days, the relationship with Naruto and the group is still good. Not bad. But ninjutsu is a Nima's identity in the ninja world, considered as is Uzumaki. Naruto holds many powerful ninjutsu, but has no obligation to teach him. Zabuza studies. So, even though Zabuza missed 8 gates dunjia very much in his heart, he didn't. Is there any shame in opening your mouth to Naruto to ask for this level of magic? Can now listen to these two little guys talk so casually. It's like basically no one takes the 8 gates dunjia as a big deal, this. Making Zabuza extremely upset. I fucking want to learn but can't. When I come to you guys, you just randomly throw things around. People who learn and understand still hate it. Alright then. Sasuke, I agree with you. And we'll help you start your cultivation. Naruto nodded in response, also pondering Sasuke's advantage in his mind. In the original, Sasuke went to Orochimaru to study martial arts for 3 years. And learned the most. What is the object? The biggest advancement is probably still lightning release. When Naruto and Sakura followed Yamato to find Orochimaru's base, the first time he saw Sasuke, didn't this guy rely on lightning release to intimidate Yamato, rendering him helpless to resist? At that time, Sasuke already possessed lightning release chakra mastery. That's why he can display that kind of powerful ability, making people feel extremely powerful. Therefore, Naruto also followed the original Orochimaru's train of thought. Mainly, instruct Sasuke to practice lightning release and finish. Although Naruto was not proficient in lightning release, Naruto could clearly remember Nainasuke using it. Lightning release's properties change, and it has all of those things. Like the Chidori spear, it can create lightning release in the palm of the hand like a blade. Extends out, randomly smashing or chopping to damage enemies. Chidori flow, through the whole body releases large range of lightning, especially the inner range. In the whole person is attacking the object, making it receive multiple enemy attacks at the same time. Can also be turned into a defensive tactic in time. Chidori Senbon turns Chidori into countless sharp Senbon. Targets the enemy and deploys. Attack, release Senbon number and amount of chakra are related if with Sharingan. Coordination can also attack weak enemies. Wait a minute, these lightning release form changes. Naruto remembers very clearly. For Sasuke to conduct appropriate guidance and teaching can definitely make him vary. Get a hold of these things. Let's go. Sasuke, your injuries are almost healed. Let's go to the back mountain. I will do my best to help you start cultivating. Naruto stood up and said, yes. Sasuke's face showed joy. He nodded vigorously in agreement. A few days before the battle with Kimimaro, Sasuke also realized himself. Disadvantages. Increasing his strength is what Sasuke desires the most. Wait a minute. The two of them had not even taken 2 steps when Naruto suddenly called out to Nainasuke. Asked, right, where is the part of the 8 gates dunjia cultivation blueprint I gave you? On my body. What? Sasuke searched through the ninja tool in his bag for a while, his eyes revealing doubt as he asked. Naruto smiled faintly and said, in any case, you don't intend to learn that thing then? Then give it to the more suitable person. Hearing that, Zabuza couldn't help but suddenly feel his body stiffen, making it a bit difficult to move. Look back. Naruto received a blueprint from Sasuke's hand, walked to Zabuza's front, and took it out. Gave it to him.
NAC.
Take it. Zabuza just left that kind of face with longing eyes, but did not escape Naruto's gaze.
Eyes.
Although Zabuza didn't say a word, Naruto knew he really wanted to learn from Bat. Dun Jia subject. Furthermore, Zabuza's physical technique was exceptionally powerful, so 8 Gates release, a perfect body technique, was probably a very suitable one for him. Naruto, you. Zabuza felt touched, somewhat at a loss as he looked at Naruto. He slightly opened his hand, wanting to receive this gift, but felt a bit embarrassed to hold it, and withdrew his hand. You. When did you become so long-winded? Naruto looked a little impatient, stuffed the drawing into Zabuza's hand, immediately turned around and grabbed Sasuke's shoulder, and walked towards the back of the mountain. Naruto. Zabuza looked at Naruto's distant back. All kinds of complicated emotions suddenly arose in his heart. From the time he entered ninja school as a child until now, it has always been a very difficult time. Long. Never felt the bondage only love brings warmth. Even in the 7 Swordsmen of the Mist. During that period of time, most of the people fought on their own, without any kind of restraint. Until later when he met Haku, Zabuza and Haku's relationship also developed. Now you are passionate, I am passionate state. No, it is Zabuza's only binding love. Status. Where now? Zabuza doesn't only have Tsunami as his confidant, even more than Naruto and the others. These little devil friends were willing to give away such high-level physical techniques at will, which made Zabuza's heart both touched and warm. What else are you talking about? I really don't want to develop. I'll take the time to practice with those little guys. Haha. Zabuza let out a laugh, seemingly mocking himself as he muttered 2 sentences. Then turned around and ran towards the back of the mountain. His strength has stagnated for a long time, without any improvement. If one can really learn the 8 Gates Duinjia, I'm afraid that from here on one's strength will also increase. Take a step up. Naruto. Then if that's the case, I still need to, on the basis of my current lightning release, once again increase the transformation form, right? Behind the mountain in the forest. Sasuke immediately understood after hearing Naruto tell him about the technique related to lightning release transformation. But thinking carefully in the middle, he felt something was wrong. Currently holding Chidori, it is already the lightning release that he can use to unleash his strongest attack transformations. If Sasuke were to start perfecting another lightning release transformation now, he would admit that he would not be able to do it at all. Although Naruto just explained those Chidori Senbon, Chidori Spear, Chidori Flow, and other form changes, they were all very detailed. But being transparent is one thing, wanting to get to this point is another thing entirely. Sasuke. I know what you're thinking, you feel like you have no choice, right? Naruto looked at Sasuke's frowning expression and immediately saw through his thoughts. Sasuke nodded vigorously. It's exactly like what you said. There's that feeling of seeing the delicious food coming, but being blocked by a transparent glass cage. Naruto helplessly smiled and said calmly, don't be too anxious. Cultivation isn't something that can be completed in a day or 2. To complete other lightning release transformations, you still need to put more effort into controlling lightning release chakra. Chidori is considered a form of lightning release transformation, but that doesn't mean that he has mastered Chidori, which could mean that Sasuke has mastered lightning release transformation. Behind still need to increase more to lightning release chakra grasp and practice. Talent enough to achieve the effect of Air Juzi using lightning release in the original work, that is the pretentious effect. This is the same as Tsunade's expertise in medical ninjutsu. Healing ninjutsu teaches healing ninjas to use their own chakra to finally control their injuries. And the other types of transformations of various attribute techniques are exactly the same as the healing ninja's path. After Naruto explained these principles to Sasuke, Sasuke finally calmed down and started training in order. Lightning release chakra control power, right? I definitely won't let it go. Sasuke nodded and said. Electricity appeared in his palm, and he shot towards a large rock not far away. Naruto glanced at Zabuza, who was holding the 8 Gates release armor blueprint not far away. A trace of a smile appeared on the corner of his mouth. Currently, the size of this battalion is still very small, but Naruto is very confident that this place will soon establish a real ninja village. Looks like after waiting for a while, we should go to Dainshi country to make a trip. Those guys that Orochimaru captured, I will go and bring them back. Naruto muttered to himself, also intending to go to Orochimaru's base for a trip. While wondering about these things, Naruto also started his own physical technique practice. For nearly half a month now, still being entangled with trivial matters, Naruto has been devoting himself to practicing physical technique. 8 Gates Dunjia requires a very strong body. To open the 7th and 8th gates, the body must reach strength, and it will show exponential growth. Naruto must try harder than before. Soft shouts, pounding sounds, and the sound of thunder and lightning suddenly rang out from behind the mountains. 3 people who started to practice diligently, no one bothered anyone. All were working hard and sweating. The sun crept silently up to the top of the head, and time passed to noon. Hyuga Hinata, recuperating at home, slowly climbed up the mountain, waved his hand towards Naruto and shouted,
Naruto-kun. Sasuke-kun.
Mr. Zabuza, come down and eat. Auntie Nami has cooked dinner. All right. Coming right away. Naruto agreed, turned his head and saw Hinata with a smiling expression, her face slightly flushed, waving her hand to signal. Sasuke. Zabuza. Let's go. You need to eat to cultivate, or your body will collapse. Naruto and them said one word. In the next blink of an eye, Naruto disappeared from the spot and appeared beside Hinata. My future wife looks in a good mood today. What's so happy about it? Naruto hugged Hinata's shoulder and asked with a dark smile. Who is your future wife? I may not be satisfied with you yet. Hinata's face immediately turned red, and she stammered in response. But immediately she seemed to remember something, her face filled with smiles again. She turned her head to look at Naruto and said, Naruto-kun, don't make me laugh. I'm sure when you come back later, you'll definitely be very happy. Naruto immediately looked confused. What's going on? So mysterious. Hinata shook her head vigorously. Hee. On the contrary, I was very surprised and happy. I can't say anything. Respond? Satisfy who? Naruto asked again. Hinata pursed her lips again, trying to restrain herself from opening her mouth. Okay then. Let's fly back and take a look. Naruto's curiosity was completely aroused by this little girl.
Wow.
Flying Thunder God technique activated. Naruto hugged Hinata's shoulder, then in the blink of an eye appeared in Tizana's living room. The scene changed in a flash. The living room is still the same familiar living room. At the corner are 2 large sofas and a coffee table. Near the kitchen is a large dining table. But there are more people sitting on the sofa than before. Furthermore, these people were all very familiar with Naruto. Seeing Naruto suddenly appear, all of them widened their eyes and were stunned on the spot. They were Shikamaru Nara, Choji Akimichi, Ino Yamanaka, Sakura Haruno, Shino Aburame, Kiba Inuzuka, 6 people in order. You guys, why are you here? Naruto was even more confused than them, turned his head to look at Hinata beside him, revealing a questioning gaze. Hinata still had a smile on her face and slowly said, They are as surprised as I said. Naruto-kun, are you happy to see them running towards you? Naruto nodded slightly. Of course it was fun. These people were not only Naruto's classmates, but also during the time Naruto was in school, there weren't many people who could have friends to play with. Although it can be said that because of the 9-tails seal within his body, Naruto was unable to get too close to them during his school years. But they were the few people in the school willing to communicate with Naruto. Through long-term contact, also formed a deep bond with Naruto. Cough 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 Naruto. Does this guy always appear so suddenly? Kiba Inuzuka, who was originally holding a teacup and drinking tea, seemed to have choked on the tea. He covered his mouth and coughed continuously, complaining towards Naruto. Woof woof. Akamaru was playing noisily with the little black milk hound on the side. When he saw Naruto appear, he tilted his head and barked happily a few times. The remaining people sitting on the sofa, after a brief moment of being stunned, showed joyful smiles on their faces and quickly walked towards Naruto. Naruto, how is it? Listening to what you mean, kid, you still don't welcome us here. Shikamaru Nara smiled and punched Naruto in the chest. Naruto was unusually excited. He patted Shikamaru's shoulder and said incoherently, No. How could that be? Looking at you all, I am so happy that I don't know how to describe it. It's like Hinata said, your appearance is truly an extremely joyful surprise. Although it was said that the time the traitor fled to the village had passed less than a month ago. But these people appearing was something Naruto completely did not expect. Naruto, I didn't think I'd see you again so soon. Choji said very rarely. Saw put down the potato chips in hand. Go up to give Naruto a bear hug. Naruto patted Choji's sturdy back and nodded, saying, I didn't think of that either. Ino pulled little Sakura's arm forward to join in, smiling and asking, Naruto, you really are not a good person, just like that you quietly took Hinata and Sasuke and ran away, making us all worry for a long time. Naruto awkwardly scratched his head. Ino, looking at what you said, I was also forced to have no choice. Anyway, that's why I chose to do it like that. Naruto, little Sakura's eyes were slightly shaking, seeming to have many wishes. Immediately asked, but only brought a hint of choked voice called out then.
No more to say.
Naruto saw little Sakura for the first time and immediately knew what she wanted to ask. Little Sakura's feelings for Sasuke, Naruto is the one who can understand and see the most clearly. Previously, the 7th class of 3 people often stayed together to carry out missions. Little Sakura always thought of a way to approach Sasuke and start a conversation with him. Even after being rejected countless times, she could still quietly wipe away her tears and once again approach Sasuke. Now, if we trace the reason to this place, I'm afraid the vast majority is still because of Sasuke. Little Sakura. Sasuke will be back soon, you wait and see. Naruto said slowly, always standing beside Shino Aburame, still keeping half of his face hidden. In color appearance. Looking at Naruto and his teammates greeting each other, but from beginning to end, they did not greet him. The pair of sunglasses in Shino's heart occasionally flashed white light. And he felt a little angry. Really? I don't have any respect for this Naruto guy.
Ah?
Shino. You guys still likes to hide it extremely tightly. Naruto took a few steps forward, laughing loudly and patting Shino's shoulder. Shino arrogantly shook his arm, using his sunglasses to look at Naruto and said in a low voice, Naruto, I didn't expect you to remember me at the last moment. I originally prepared a gift to give to you, but now I don't intend to give it to you. Want to ask what it is? Just because I occupy the least weight in your heart, you basically don't pay any attention to my existence. What equals? Naruto looked confused, not understanding why Shino would be so concerned about such a small matter. Pick this up on the air. The last person to greet represents the person who occupies the least weight in the heart. Moreover, your name is hidden extremely tightly, the damage feeling is relatively low. So, what do you want me to do now? Naruto expressed his sadness, using his eyes to ask for help to look towards the few people. But they just spread their hands out, showing that they were helpless. While talking, Zabuza and Sasuke walked side by side, through the main door, and entered. The crowd all turned their heads to look back. Sasuke.
Sasuke-kun.
Both sides were a bit stunned for a moment, and little Sakura was also unable to control herself. Suppressing emotions, tears streaming down his face, he quickly rushed forward and lunged at her. 9 a sook in the chest. Little Sakura, Sasuke's eyes flashed with complicated emotions. He raised his hand, wanting to comfort little Sakura's emotions, but his hand stretched out in midair and still fell down. Right now, Sasuke may not have been completely consumed by hatred, but rather that kind of coldness. Unintentional condition. People's hearts are full of humiliation. Little Sakura did everything for him. He understood it very well in his heart. It's just that Sasuke knows that he is on a mission of revenge, and before he has stabbed his enemy with his own hands, he will not interfere with these children's affairs. Little Sakura. Let me go, Al. Nina Sook's voice carried a trace of indifference, forcefully pushing away little Sakura in his chest. Little Sakura stomped back a few steps, feeling extremely heartbroken and covering her face. Sob out loud. Little Sakura. Don't be like that, Sasuke-kun. He either just can't do anything about it. Adapt where? Ino immediately rushed forward to comfort and stroke little Sakura's back. At the same time, Ino also raised her head and glared at Sasuke, meaning you don't need to be like that. What a coincidence. She really came here, specifically to find you. Maybe this reproachful look of hers, in exchange for Sasuke just not looking, also not having any egg to use. The atmosphere suddenly became awkward, and the crowd did not know how to mediate. Luckily at this moment, Tsunami came out from the kitchen and called out to Zabuza and Naruto. Zabuza-san. Naruto-kun, the food is ready. Everyone sit down and talk while eating. Naruto quickly nodded in agreement, calling the crowd to start taking their places. Yes, yes.
Right.
Let's sit down and eat first. Nami Aunt's cooking is really the best. Choji put his round belly inside and sat down on a chair, searching around Dash. After chasing for so long, I'm already hungry. Shikamaru also followed him to his seat, helplessly sighing and saying, "Huchoji, aren't you always eating potato chips? French fries are just snacks. The real delicacy is of course still food, moreover, didn't Naruto say it too? These foods are delicious." Everyone took their seats, one by one. Luckily, Tsunami's dining table was big enough. Even with so many people, it still didn't seem too crowded. During the meal, Naruto ate like a hungry tiger while asking Shikamaru and the others, "That's right, Shikamaru. Why did you guys suddenly run here? Could it be that the high-ranking members of the Leaf Village sent you here?" Hyuga Hinata also followed and asked, "That's right, Kiba, Shino. I just forgot to ask you too. Why were you able to find this place, knowing that we are in this country?" Just arrived, Shikamaru waited for 6 people. It seemed like it had been a long time since they had a main meal. The whole group of generals ate nothing better than Naruto. Actually, the story is like this. That night, a few of us decided to go out with Sakura to search for your whereabouts. Shikamaru forcefully swallowed the chicken thigh in his mouth, slowly steering Shirkai to release it. He explained the whole process very thoroughly. With Kiba and Ino's help, Naruto and the others would have a general understanding of the situation, including the Konoha people's current resentment and feelings towards Naruto. There are also these 6 of them, who went through some things together. When they first left Konoha, Shikamaru and the 6 of them had absolutely no target to search for. But just as Naruto was carrying Hinata while looking for Tsunade these past few days, it happened to be in the many places in the Land of Fire's dense forest that left behind a scent. This is extremely important information for the expert tracker Kiba, Inuzuka, and Shino. So, this 6-man team of theirs followed the scent left behind by Naruto and Hinata and continued to pursue them all the way to Duping Town. But by the time the 6 of them arrived at that small inn, Naruto and Hinata had already left. Naruto and Hinata returned to the Land of Waves and used the Flying Thunder God technique to run away without leaving any trace behind. Because of that, the 6-man squad suddenly lost their target. Can only once again start in Dubin Town to conduct a blind search, hoping to be able to obtain some clues. But they did not give up this thought. Still really found an opportunity. Tsunade on the body is really put into a sword Naruto gave Hiraition's specially made kunai. The kunai on top left Naruto's aura, which also allowed them to find Tsunade's whereabouts. "You came to find my master? Then, how did you tell her?" Naruto heard and became excited. The movement of eating together stopped. Raised his head to look at the few people and asked, "Tsunade is not a good person." Shikamaru and the others suddenly came up to ask about Naruto's whereabouts. With Tsunade's protective personality, it was certain that they wouldn't easily reveal Naruto's whereabouts. If there was no discussion, Tsunade mistakenly thought that Shikamaru and the others were going to the village to chase after Naruto ninja. It was feared that Shikamaru and the others would be beaten up on the spot, and then chased away. "Naruto, I believe you can also guess something." Shikamaru looked at Naruto's schadenfreude expression and knew that Naruto already had a guess in his heart. He continued, "We found Lady Tsunade in a casino. At that time, she was gambling, and when we asked her about your whereabouts, she didn't pay any attention at all." Under that Kiba guy's impolite questioning, all of us were beaten up by Tsunade-sama. Kiba immediately became dissatisfied, put down the chopsticks in his hand and retorted, "How can this be blamed on me? Weren't you all also impatient at that time? Moreover, how would I know that beautiful woman was the legendary Sannin, Tsunade-san?" No one noticed Kiba's painless and itchless complaints, continuing to enjoy the delicious food Tsunami had prepared for the table. Hyuga Hinata asked, "Shikamaru, why did Tsunade-sama beat you up and tell you about Naruto-kun's whereabouts?" Shikamaru smiled helplessly and slowly said, "It's natural that things will change. Later on Lord Jiraiya will also appear." What? Except for Shikamaru's squad of 6. Naruto's teammates all showed surprised expressions. Shikamaru also had no intention of taking advantage of the situation and continued to speak. "Jiraiya-sama naturally doesn't recognize us. A few unknown robbers, but he guessed that we were looking for Naruto, not to capture him. Because Konoha is currently short on manpower, everyone is busy repairing the village's buildings and helping to restore the village's vitality. Where would they have the free time to send out ninjas to pursue and find Naruto's whereabouts?" The 6 of us, along with Tsunade-sama and Jiraiya-sama, left that casino together. Under the 2 lords' questions, we six stated the purpose of finding your whereabouts. Hearing this, Naruto couldn't help but furrow his eyebrows. Shikamaru, so what you mean is, my master told you about my whereabouts, and also told Jiraiya? Then, why didn't Jiraiya come along to arrest me? This traitorous ninja. Shikamaru gently shook his head, scooped another bowl of rice, and slowly continued to speak. Naruto, don't be in a hurry. This is also what I have to tell you later on about a big matter. Tsunade-sama knows that we six are all your classmates and teammates, and she also sees that Jiraiya-sama has a deep prejudice against you. So, Lady Tsunade told us all the details about your background, as well as everything that happened to you in Konoha over the years. Hearing that, Naruto stopped shaking his rice, his body shaking slightly. These things were originally not anything glorious or good. They could only be considered Naruto's unbearable past. Now that he has entered the land of waves, with Hinata, Sasuke, Zabuza, and the others as companions, Naruto has gradually forgotten all of those things from before. Feeling himself being stared at, Naruto raised his head and scanned everyone. Then I found Ino, Choji, and the others looking at me with sympathetic eyes. Obviously, Tsunade explained everything to them in great detail, telling Ino and the others all of Naruto's painful memories from when he was young. That's why these guys will show this kind of look. What are you doing? I don't seem so pitiful, nor so weak. Don't look at me with that kind of gaze. Naruto's mouth revealed a trace of a smile. He said lightly, the big guys care. Naruto can clearly feel it having such a bunch of guys remember him. It really makes one feel warm in the heart. Kiba Inuzuka snorted softly and laughed loudly.
Cut.
Who would sympathize with someone like you? You could tear Danzo apart and wipe out thousands of ninjas. We would be so envious. Ino stroked her long golden hair that was cut across her forehead and threw Naruto a seductive look. That's right, I never noticed this Naruto guy before, yet he is so outstanding and outstanding. Speaking, Ino looked towards Hinata. The corner of her mouth carried an evil smile, said, Hinata, you need to be prepared from now on. I want to compete with you to pursue Naruto. Hinata immediately didn't know what to do. Kurenai's face instantly turned into a small chili pepper. She looked at Naruto, then looked at Ino, not knowing how to respond. Naruto grabbed Hinata's shoulder, smiled and looked at Ino and replied, Ino, then you have to try harder. Hinata's position in my heart is really very heavy. These words made Hinata feel warm inside, and she lowered her head in embarrassment. At the same time, Naruto's narcissistic behavior also made the other people at the dinner table unable to help but laugh. Cut. Naruto. I knew you narcissistic guy would say that. Ino snorted softly, expressing her extreme discomfort at being subjected to this kind of tactful rejection. Kiba Inuzuka echoed, I told you guys earlier that Naruto brought us thick skin. No need to be polite with him. Shikamaru saw the scene getting a bit out of control and quickly spoke up and said, Hey. Aren't you guys talking off topic? I was just talking about the matter between Tsunade-sama and Jiraiya-sama. The crowd began to eat quietly again. At the same time, the tycoon also perked up his ears, listening to Shikamaru's slow presentation. It turns out that Tsunade was also on guard from the beginning and did not inform Jiraiya and the others about Naruto's whereabouts. But when Tsunade told Naruto's background and the dirty things these old men in the Leaf Village's upper echelons had done behind the scenes over the years, Jiraiya also expressed his utmost shame. Jiraiya and Tsunade, after experiencing the Second Great Ninja War, were also in a state of leaving Konoha, so they did not particularly understand Konoha's complicated political relations. He followed Gamamaru's orders and continued to write novels while searching for the whereabouts of his son of destiny. It's been so many years. Jiraiya has sought out several generations of candidates, but they all disappeared or perished one after another. For example, Jiraiya's earliest disciple Nagato, and later accepted disciple Minato Namikaze. This made Jiraiya doubt for once whether this path he was taking was correct or not. But just at that time, Myobokuzen, Gamamaru the sage once again summoned Jiraiya. Jiraiya spoke of the prophecy of the Son of Fate, and it changed. In his dream, he saw a blonde youth standing above a nine-tailed demon fox, using superior political means and force to resolve the chaotic ninja world conflict. This young man is the one who brought peace to the ninja world, and after that the ninja continent will encounter other planets invaded by humans. At that time, the entire ninja continent will weave into a rope, gather together to become comrades and face the foreign invaders. Blonde boy. Naruto was a little confused, pointing at his nose. You wouldn't say it was me? What happened? Can Gamamaru really predict the future? Moreover, Naruto changed the original script of the future. According to the original script, Gamamaru Sage predicted Naruto and Sasuke's survival in the ninja world, which had an extremely important effect. In the end, Naruto and Sasuke will have a duel, but as for why, I don't remember very clearly. But now, as if following Naruto's original script changes, Gamamaru's prophecy also showed some changes.
Ah,
that's right. This is what Lord Jiraiya said himself. You must be that son of fate. Shikamaru nodded and said, his expression extremely serious. The rest of the people also looked at Naruto with solemn expressions, as if they had already accepted this matter in their hearts. Naruto's consciousness entered the Nine-Tails' sealed space, raised his head with a smiling expression and looked at the Nine-Tails locked behind the large iron door, and shouted loudly, Have you heard, Kurama? Even Gamamaru the sage said that I am the son of prophecy, and in the future I will ride on your head and rule the entire ninja world.
cut.
Who wants to be ridden on the head of a little devil like you? Believe it or not, I will tear you to pieces right now. Nine-Tails disdainfully snorted lightly, saying this threatening words. His emotions also did not show any signs of being too agitated. Even the corner of that fox's mouth vaguely revealed a trace of an imperceptible smile. The son of prophecy? It seems a bit interesting. It is possible that this little devil really has a big connection with that old man from the Six Paths. Nine-Tails silently muttered in his heart. Naruto took a few steps forward, sat down beside the large iron door, raised his head and looked at the Nine-Tails and said, Hey, Kurama, don't be so indifferent. Last time you lent me your chakra, weren't you really concerned about my life or death? Last time at the base, Naruto's chakra was already in a state of exhaustion. If it weren't for the Nine-Tails taking the initiative to pull Naruto into the consciousness space and use the chakra it gave Naruto, I'm afraid that Naruto would still need to spend a lot of effort to defeat Danzo. Although Naruto was sure that he wouldn't die at the base, but in his current state, even if he wanted to defeat Danzo, it would only be a narrow victory. Little brat, don't try to get acquainted with this old man. I lent you my chakra just because I didn't want you to die. If you die, I will disappear with you for many years. The Nine-Tails continued to arrogantly refute, but in Naruto's eyes, this refuting intensity was just a matter of not admitting it out of pride. After Naruto died, the Nine-Tails would indeed die with him. But wouldn't it be able to be resurrected 10 years later and even regain its freedom? Good. Kurama, no matter what. I still want to thank you for helping me. Without chatting with you, I still have to continue to ask my teammates about the situation. As Naruto spoke, a white beam of light appeared above his head, pulling his body into the sky and disappearing without a trace. The smile on the corner of Kurama's mouth finally stopped, and he laughed heartily. Ah. This little brat is really a fool, actually saying thanks to a tailed beast. It was the first time encountering the Nine-Tails thanking Jinchuriki. Before, when Mito Uzumaki and Kushina were Jinchuriki, she had guessed that the Nine-Tails was considered a corrupted being. Even when communicating in the spiritual space, they basically said vicious words and did not let the Nine-Tails feel this kind of feeling of being treated equally. Nine-Tails' spatial consciousness communication speed is completely different from the outside. At this time, Shikamaru was still nodding in agreement, responding to Naruto's previous topic. Shikamaru nodded and said, Naruto. Lord Jiraiya of course also knows. The blonde-haired youth that Gamamaru Sage is talking about could very well be you. But at that time, he was also unwilling to accept this matter. After all, you really colluded with Orochimaru and together carried out the traitor plan to destroy Konoha. Hyuga Hinata hurriedly spoke up to explain. Shikamaru, everyone, you absolutely should not believe such things. Naruto-kun was also forced, moreover. That day he fought with the base people, it was completely to save me. Shikamaru smiled and shook his head. Hinata, don't be in such a hurry. Of course, we are willing to trust Naruto. Moreover, Jiraiya-sama understood Naruto's past through Tsunade-sama and also showed that he understood Naruto's actions in rebelling against the village. After all, such a sad place of childhood, moreover a place filled with darkness, is indeed not something that everyone can bear. We are all luckier than Naruto and Sasuke. Our family has never encountered such misfortune. At this time, the Tizana family of three also did not understand the complicated relationships in Konoha. After eating their fill, they got up early to leave the party. Zabuza and Haku also expressed that they did not want to participate in the reunion of the 9 little strongs and the others, and chased them away to the back mountain to practice. At the dinner table, Tu Kwang and the others heard this, and also started to fall silent. Shikamaru and the others felt completely incomprehensible about the darkness behind Konoha. But at the same time, they felt sympathy for Naruto and Sasuke. But Sasuke's emotions were a bit down. He lowered his head, probably thinking about the Uchiha clan being exterminated. Then what happened next? Shikamaru continued talking. Naruto saw that the atmosphere was a bit heavy, and hurriedly asked again. Shikamaru nodded slightly. Later it was Jiraiya-sama who invited Tsunade-sama to the village to succeed Hokage. From the beginning, Lady Tsunade was very direct in her refusal, not wanting to pick up the current mess of Konoha. But Lord Jiraiya put forward a seductive condition, which also moved Lord Tsunade. What conditions? Naruto asked hurriedly. Hinata and Sasuke both looked up at Shikamaru, their eyes filled with doubt and anticipation. Shikamaru helplessly smiled, reached out and patted Naruto on the shoulder. Naruto, Lady Tsunade is mainly here for you. No matter what, Lady Tsunade is still the Hokage's first daughter. Seeing Konoha turn into what it is now, she still feels very uncomfortable. And the condition that Lord Jiraiya mentioned is that after Lord Tsunade returns to Konoha to succeed the Hokage, he will very quickly be able to bring the Anbu and the Hokage under direct control of the ninja, all under the name of Lord Tsunade. Otherwise, we can only separate the former 3rd Division's power from the 2 high-ranking officials of Koharu Yutane and Hamura Midokado. If we wait until Konoha recovers, those 2 high-ranking officials will definitely send out their forces and start chasing you, Naruto. Anyway, Naruto really did seal the 9 tails in your body. This kind of powerful power wandering outside, in the eyes of those stubborn old men above, is absolutely not a good thing. Hearing that, Naruto seemed to have roughly understood the entire event. Tsunade probably thought about Naruto's safety and also had some feelings for Konoha, so she listened to Jiraiya's advice and returned to Konoha to succeed the Hokage position. Anyway, as long as Tsunade is in power, the remaining 2 old men in Konoha will have nothing to say. Whether or not to chase and capture Naruto, all must be decided by Tsunade, this Hokage. Of course, as for Tsunade's reason for trying her best to help Naruto, it was completely due to her love for her disciple Naruto, or hearing Jiraiya's son of prophecy words. These people here had no way of guessing. In short, Tsunade returns as Hokage. Although Naruto later continued to be a traitorous ninja in the Land of Waves. Because of his relationship with Tsunade for many reasons, he did not need to worry about being caught by the Leaf Village ninja, and could rest assured to develop his power here. After lunch, Tu Kwang personally brought a chair and sat on the grass outside Tizana's house to bask in the sun. Naruto leisurely took a sip of tea and asked the others, Shikamaru, Choji, Ino, and Shino. Kiba, little Sakura, you guys came to the Land of Waves this time. Is it purely out of concern for your friends, or are you saying you will stay here to help us? Kiba Inuzuka learned Naruto's previous appearance and raised a middle finger towards Naruto. Naruto, you really are shameless. Do you really want to drag us ninjas to betray and stay here with you? Naruto chuckled and then laughed again. Since you know I'm shameless, then I'm really not afraid to tell you. I'm very Samly looking forward to you guys staying to help me. Speaking, Naruto pointed to the lake shore several kilometers away, where knocking sounds were still coming from, and said, See, over there is the country I let you conquer. That's not right. Cross the stage. Over there is a construction project. I want to establish a ninja village base in the Land of Waves. I am preparing to start establishing the ninja village here with Sasuke, Hinata, and the others. Choji Akimichi nodded. Naruto, we already know this from Tsunade-sama. Ino Yamanaka gave Naruto a thumbs up, smiling as she said, Naruto, you are truly an outstanding man. I have come to appreciate you more and more. Hearing that, Hinata quickly grabbed Naruto's arm tightly, as if afraid that Ino would fight with her for something. Naruto patted Hinata's hand to comfort her. But at the same time, Naruto also knew that Ino just liked to joke, so after she smiled in response, he didn't continue with this sentence. Who would a heartless man? He rejected my love twice. Ino pretended to be sad and wiped her tears, making everyone around laugh. After all, the rich people were very familiar with each other's personalities and knew that Ino had a casual personality and usually liked to joke around. Shikamaru shook his head and said, "Naruto, the last few times we went out, we carried everyone and ran away. If we don't come back for a long time, we might be branded as traitors to the ninja and cause trouble for our clans." Naruto nodded slightly. "I know it's really hard for you guys, for me, Hinata, and Sasuke. The three of you are willing to take such a big risk." While talking, Naruto also looked at the silent little Sakura. Logically speaking, with little Sakura's personality, under the premise that she likes Sasuke, she definitely wants to stay. Even though just now in front of everyone, Sasuke was covered in injuries, little Sakura still wouldn't give up easily. Seeming to feel Naruto's gaze. Little Sakura, who had been keeping her head down, suddenly raised her head, the corner of her mouth revealing a bitter smile. "Naruto. Actually, I really want to stay with you guys. But I know that with my current state, even if I stay by your side, I still won't be able to provide you with too much help. So, I also know that I will return with Shikamaru and the others. I want to follow Tsunade-sama to learn medical ninjutsu. Naruto, Sasuke, I will definitely think of a way to quickly catch up with you guys. Zetsu will absolutely not be willing to just continue like this." Hearing that, Naruto's face showed a trace of surprise. "What's going on? Tsunade? On the condition of accepting me as her disciple, accepted little Sakura?" Little Sakura, Sasuke also seemed a little emotional, turning his head to look at little Sakura. He probably didn't expect little Sakura to be so persistent. While thinking, Ino suddenly smiled and said, "That's right, at Dubin Town. Tsunade-sama really promised to teach me and Sakura medical ninjutsu. However, the premise is that one must first cultivate under Shizen Senior. Only after reaching Shizen Senior's level can one truly receive Tsunade-sama's guidance." Naruto suddenly understood. It turns out that Tsunade's true disciple is still herself. Although little Sakura and Ino are considered Tsunade's registered disciples, the only person who can follow them in cultivation is Shizune. Anyway, after Tsunade succeeds to Hokage, she will be extremely busy with both big and small official matters and won't have much free time to teach her disciples. A few hundred meters there is more than a forest inside. A 7-man ninja squad, hiding behind dense woods, used telescopes in their hands to observe the movements outside the Tizana house. These 7 people all had on a black robe. Inside they wore a set of green undergarments. On a certain part of their body tied the ninja Hittite forehead treasure, which belonged to Konoha. It really is that Uzumaki Naruto brat. I really didn't expect that Uzumaki Naruto would actually escape to this place. Luckily, Lord Koharu had foresight and sent out a squad of 7 of us to secretly follow those brats. They were able to find their way here. The 7 people were talking to each other in low voices, but they were hiding in places surrounded by dense trees. So they didn't have to worry about being discovered. One of the ninjas wearing a tiger-faced mask put down his telescope and said to his teammates in a low voice, "Good. Since we have determined Uzumaki Naruto's location, then we will return to Konoha and report the situation to Lord Koharu and Lord Yen. There are 4 other people left. Follow me and stay here in rotation to monitor Uzumaki Naruto's work." "I understand, Captain." The remaining 6 people nodded in agreement. Immediately, 2 black-robed ninjas quietly retreated towards the forest behind them, leaped onto the trunk of a large tree, and galloped towards the distance. "Naruto, you 3 don't need to see us off. We'll come back to visit you when we have time." Wave Country Bridge, Great Intersection. Shikamaru Nara. 6 people waved to Naruto to make farewell. The distance Shikamaru and the other 6 people arrived at the Land of Waves was already 3 days past. This 3,000-mile group of people reviews together every day, talks about future expectations and plans, and has a very enjoyable time. But just as Shikamaru said, the 6 of them always came here secretly. They can't stay outside for too long. If they can't return the favor, even if the newly appointed Hokage Tsunade gives them 6 blows, there's still some unspeakable past. This morning, Naruto, Hinata, Sasuke, 3 people followed Shikamaru. 6 people go out, far to the Wave Country Bridge, large intersection. Seeing Shikamaru signal that there was no need to see him off, Naruto also waved his hand in farewell. "I know, Shikamaru, Choji, Ino, little Sakura, Kiba, Shino, you will always be my comrades. No matter what happens in the future, you and I will never become enemies. Kiba Inuzuka nodded vigorously. Naruto. Of course we know this, otherwise we wouldn't have wasted so much effort coming out to find you guys, just to meet and catch up with you guys. The rest of the people also nodded, expressing their complete agreement with this point of view. Shino exposed his cheekbones from under his collar, his face dark as he said, My name is ranked last, Naruto. My friend really has the lightest weight in your heart. What? Shino, you're not. Naruto immediately went crazy. How could this Shino guy be so sensitive? Even such small things could be taken out to be a problem. The rest of the people were not surprised by Shino's reaction. They smiled as if nothing had happened. Goodbye? We want to run back to Konoha with all our might. Shikamaru waved goodbye to Naruto and the other three. Immediately he took the lead and turned around to leave. With his hands behind his back in a strange position, using a standard ninja running posture, charging up the big bridge, and starting to walk. The remaining 5 people followed suit and rushed up the big bridge, disappearing into the early morning mist. Naruto, I originally thought that because of your relationship, some of them would be willing to stay. Sasuke looked at Naruto and said slowly. Naruto shook his head. This kind of thing cannot be forced. Besides, Sasuke, why don't you accept little Sakura? You know very well her feelings for you. Before he finished speaking, Sasuke's expression became slightly stiff, as if he didn't want to enter this topic. He turned around and walked towards Tazana's house. Let's go back, Naruto. We still have to work hard to cultivate. These past few days I've really been in a mess again. Let's go. Naruto helplessly sighed, took Hinata's little hand, and slowly followed behind Sasuke. Actually, what Sasuke was thinking, Naruto could roughly guess. Simply do not want to involve too many emotions, want to put revenge in the number 1 position. But this kind of advice is also useless, can only let Sasuke himself slowly experience and understand. Having a maid by your side is a good thing, although the rich people are still young now, and can't do that kind of thing. But Loli's plan is still very exciting, right? As he spoke, Naruto turned his head to look at Hinata, whose chest was slightly exposed. Seeming to notice Naruto's cowardly gaze, Hinata shyly glared at Naruto and angrily reprimanded. Naruto-kun, what bad ideas are you thinking of again? Cough cough. I just saw your dirty clothes. Quick, I'll help you clean the stains.
No. Altakon.
Realizing Naruto's intention to mess around, Hinata blushed in embarrassment, quickly escaped from Naruto's clutches, and quickly ran towards Tazana's house.
What?
Just kidding with you. Am I that kind of despicable person? Really me? Naruto said to himself, slowly walking at the back. After returning to Tazana's house, Naruto did not immediately go to the back mountain to practice. Just because Naruto suddenly remembered a few days ago, the system sent Naruto a mission reward, which was Kodo Amatsukumi's usage time limit reduction.
Hey.
System, if I want to change Shursui Uchiha's Mangekyo Sharingan, there shouldn't be any problem, right? Naruto asked the system in his heart. The host already has Hashirama Senju cells for the Mangekyo Sharingan transplant. The body will not show any rejection reaction. The transplant can be performed. What about the implant method? Is there any painful implant, like a system that changes eyesight in 1 key or something? Naruto asked again. Suggests the host himself take out the eyes, then install the eyes himself. This is the most direct and effective method. You motherfucker. What the hell kind of method is this? Naruto immediately fell silent. This kind of method of buttoning his own shirt and putting on his own makeup, it's not like it hasn't appeared before in the original work. Madara Uchiha is not that kind of vicious person, just randomly capturing and shooting people. Naruto is really afraid of pain. Gouging out his own eyes is very painful, okay? The eyes are definitely connected to countless nerves in the body, so holding it down like that would definitely be extremely painful. Or the host can open the sage form. The control over the sage technique's chakra will increase. The eye-changing process will also be more smooth. Open immortal form? On the 2nd floor in the mist room, Naruto sat at the table, looking a bit hesitant. The system said this plan is absolutely correct and can be considered possible. Although Naruto's chakra control has reached Tsunade's standard. But these past few days, Naruto has been trying it out in his free time. After opening the Sage mode, using natural energy chakra to perform healing ninjutsu can indeed increase Naruto's healing effect quite a bit. Whatever. I have to endure the pain. Naruto muttered a sentence, conveniently grabbed the mirror on the table, placed it in front of himself, and prepared to start making a move. In order to avoid worrying Hinata and the others, Naruto didn't plan on telling them. Close your eyes and start feeling the natural energy around you. A few minutes later, clear orange eye images appeared around Naruto's eyelids. He had entered sage mode state. Huh? Are some miscellaneous fish hidden over there? Naruto turned his head to look out the window. His eyebrows couldn't help but slightly furrow. Almost in an instant, under the immortal form's ability to perceive, Naruto immediately felt 5 strange chakra auras, hiding a few hundred meters away in a dense forest. But they didn't make any movements at this time. Naruto wasn't in a hurry to deal with them, planning to first change his gaze. Then discuss everything from the beginning. What's the situation? Why is that Uzumaki Naruto kid glaring at us? Did he discover us? What are you joking about? You, Uzumaki Naruto, have the Hyuga clan's Byakuya? Can you still observe the situation outside from such a long distance? That's right. Fortunately, that little girl from the Hyuga clan seems to be resting and healing her wounds. Otherwise, it would be a bit dangerous for us to be hiding here these days under surveillance. 3 hidden leaf village ninja, hiding in the dense forest behind the dialogue. The other 2 people were taking shifts to rest, lying down under a big tree, and closing their eyes to sleep. This group of people were extremely good at concealment, so they were sent out to conduct surveillance work. Even the Inuzuka clan and Aburame clan members did not discover their existence.
Puffy.
Gritting his teeth, Naruto probed his left eye with 2 fingers. Fresh Kurenai's blood flowed down her eyelids. Naruto also felt his left eye darken. Then came a heart-wrenching pain, causing Naruto's body to tremble uncontrollably. Not daring to make any stops, Naruto's thoughts moved, storing his blue left eye into the system's space compartment. Once again took out that Shursui Uchiha Mangekyo Sharingan, without any hesitation followed it into the rim of his left eye. A feeling of pain was transmitted, the eyes filled with the eye sockets. That kind of pain still did not recede. Naruto sat there quietly without moving, until his body adapted to the pain in his left eye, then he slowly tried to open his eyes. But when Naruto completely opened his left eye, he immediately had a dream. Left eye is just pitch black, can't see anything.
Hey.
System, what's the situation? Why can't my left eye see anything? Naruto immediately became upset. Which part had the problem? This is the same as the original work, it's not a cliché at all.
Ding.
Congratulations to the host for successfully changing his eyes. The host's left eye's internal optic nerve is injured. Recovery of vision still requires rest and treatment.
What?
Like that, then my left eye ability can be used? Mangekyo Sharingan, besides ultimate skills, also has other accompanying abilities which are also very good. For example, seeing clearly and predicting, chakra peeping. Normal illusionary magic abilities, these are all methods that the Sharingan has. Kodo Amatsukumi is currently 7.5 years behind, so Naruto temporarily doesn't have unrealistic hopes. If he can't even use his other abilities right now, then Naruto's eye exchange would be a bit of a loss. Not only is it not easy to see, it also makes me want to go blind for a while. Host can temporarily close the left eye, use healing ninjutsu to heal himself, with Hashirama's cell recovery ability, in just a few days can completely recover to the original state. This type, then, it can be considered relatively reliable. Naruto nodded, relatively satisfied with this answer. Although it is said that the eye makeup cannot be used immediately, it is only a matter of a few days of recovery time. Naruto can wait. Good. Then let me take care of those guys lurking to the side. Naruto said to himself, took out a medical bandage from his body and wrapped it around his left eye. Densely in the bushes, 3 hidden leaf village ninja, still holding telescopes in their hands, observed the movements of Tazana's house. Speaking of which, what exactly is that Uzumaki Naruto kid doing? It seems like he is harming himself like this. Who knows? We are not his match. Let's continue to monitor here and wait for Koharu's orders. I really don't know when those 2 guys will come back. Mosquitoes are biting people to death in this forest. The 3 people discussed the situation on one side, occasionally complaining. Supervising this kind of work is usually like that. It takes more effort than normal people. But this group of Umbu ninja all went through special training. So many petty people's difficult circumstances were nothing to them. It's just that there's some resentment in my head. But talking out with my teammates doesn't mean anything. You guys, Did you find any useful information? A slightly unfamiliar voice suddenly sounded from behind, causing the three people squatting in the bushes to feel a trace of alertness. Who? The three people exclaimed in shock. Their many years of ninja life experience made their first reaction to roll to the side and escape, guarding against danger that could appear at any time. But when they saw the surrounding scenery clearly, they discovered a blonde-haired teenager squatting under a large tree. The young man held a kunai in both hands, resting it on the neck of the two sleeping ninja. Uzumaki Naruto? Disgusting. When the hell? The tiger-faced dark ninja angrily cursed. He lowered his consciousness and glanced behind the trees. Uzumaki Naruto was still sitting in the room on the second floor, never leaving their sight. Now, thinking back, it turns out that Uzumaki Naruto had just been looking towards the woods for a long time and had actually discovered a few of them. It's just that people are deliberately revealing flaws. Using the clone as bait, the main body has quietly searched for it. Captain, what should we do now? The bare-faced masked ninja's voice was slightly trembling as he asked the tiger-faced ninja. He looked at Naruto's relaxed and satisfied expression and felt an invisible pressure. This kind of pressure doesn't entirely come from the gap in strength. After all, they are all Umbu experts, possessing the standard of a Chunin. The more reasons, still, that Naruto in Konoha has become famous as a god of death. One person challenged the entire village. This matter had already spread throughout the village. They now have only 5 people, 2 of their lives are already in the hands of the opponent. With just these 3 remaining people, can they really fight against this god of death, Uzumaki Naruto? Uzumaki Naruto, what the hell do you want? The tiger-faced ninja asked in a low voice. He also felt that this atmosphere was too restrained, wanting to break this damn calm. Naruto's mouth corners revealed a trace of a smile. What do you think I want? You guys are hiding here, spying on my life. How should I treat you guys? The tiger-faced ninja tightly grasped the kunai in his hand, but still did not dare to attack Naruto. Perhaps it was because of the worry that his 2 teammates' lives were in Naruto's hands. But more and more, or he really is like his teammates. Towards Naruto's attack, in the bottom of his heart there is a trace of fear. One person killing thousands of people, that's not a joke. Wanna say Naruto just had the chance to instantly kill the 5 of them together. The tiger-faced ninja also willingly believed. Maybe Naruto didn't do that. It showed that he didn't really want their lives. That's why this tiger-faced ninja could ask such a question. Naruto saw that the atmosphere had settled down. These guys were almost scared. Only then did he speak up and say, "Good. If you guys don't want to die, then whatever I ask next, just answer honestly, and I can consider letting you go. But if you dare to play tricks with me, and I discover any abnormality, none of you will leave alive." These 5 people couldn't help but grit their teeth at the same time, although they were extremely scared in their hearts. Being threatened by a junior like this was still very uncomfortable. Concerned about the safety of his teammates, the tiger-faced ninja still gave in and nodded slightly. Uzumaki Naruto, what do you want to ask? Very good. Who sent you? Naruto nodded and asked. We are Koharu-sama's direct subordinates. Naruto's eyes revealed doubt. Lord Koharu? Koharu Udatain? Tiger-faced ninja. That's right. Ever since Shikamaru Nara and the others stole out of the village, we have been secretly following behind them. On one hand, it was to protect the children of several major clans, and on the other hand, it was also because Lord Koharu gave us orders to definitely find your whereabouts. Naruto immediately frowned. You guys were able to escape Kiba and Shino's investigation, so it shows that your hiding ability is indeed not bad. Next, Naruto carefully questioned these people. According to what they heard, Koharu Udatain and Hamura Mitokado were both very unusual people. It turns out that among the 4 high-ranking members of Konoha, Koharu Udatain and Hamura Mitokado, who have always felt a bit inferior, are not just superficially like that, they are participants in the Konoha's major discussions. Koharu Udatain and Hamura Mitokado also have their own Umbu ninja army. Although it is inferior to Danzo's ninja corps in terms of number of members, it is still not comparable to Sarutobi Hiruzen's direct line of Umbu and Konoha ninja in terms of quantity and quality. But Koharu Udatain and Hamura Mitokado's subordinates have a number of Umbu ninja. Adding them together can probably reach the total number of ninja in the Umbu. No wonder during the last Great Ninja War, the great ninja villages could send out tens of thousands of ninja troops at a moment's notice. but the number of ninja in Konoha village looks like it won't reach tens of thousands. It turns out that most of the ninja forces were divided by the 4 high-ranking officials of Konoha village. Adding on the large ninja clans, I'm afraid they really do have this kind of scale. Then I ask you again, what do Koharu Yutane and Hamura Midokado want to do? Send someone to capture me? Naruto continued to ask. The tiger-faced ninja shook his head. We really don't know about this. The place we confirmed the mission was to follow Shikamaru Nara and the others forward. After finding you, we will monitor you here. As for other matters, we also want to wait for orders from above. Seeing that he couldn't find any useful information, Naruto kept his promise. The 2 kunai followed the 2 ninjas' throats and slowly stood up, saying, Good. All 5 of you, go back to Konoha. I won't kill you today. But if you don't know what's good for you, and still want to cause chaos in the Wave Country, I think you will know your fate. The 2 forced Umbu ninja, after escaping danger, quickly dodged away from Naruto's side, standing behind that tiger-faced ninja. Hearing Naruto's threatening words, the faces of the 5 people under the masks all turned ugly. But they all believed with absolute confidence that what Naruto said was true, and he was not joking with them. Thank you, Uzumaki Naruto. Let's go. The tiger-faced ninja turned around slightly, clasped his hands, and expressed his gratitude towards Naruto. Immediately, he waved his hand, preparing to take his subordinates and leave. Wait a minute. Naruto's voice rang out again. The 5 people who had just taken a few steps could not help but suddenly stiffen in place. The 5 of them glanced at each other, all seeing a trace of despair in each other's eyes. Sure enough, this ruthless little devil won't let them go so easily. Pulled out kunai and clenched it tightly in hand, cold sweat appeared in the palm of the hand and rubbed the kunai handle, emitting a very small creaking sound. But Naruto's next words finally put their worries down. You guys go back and tell those 2 old guys Koharu Yutane and Hamura Midokado that my Wave Country territory, the 2 of them are not allowed to have any involvement. If they dare to come to my territory to play tricks again, the next time they step into the land of the waves, without your good luck, I will kill them all. Naruto's voice is extremely domineering, but this kind of threatening words still made the 5 Umbu ninjas feel amused. It turned out that Uzumaki Naruto really wanted to keep his promise and had no intention of killing them. I understand. We will definitely report this to Lord Koharu. The tiger-faced ninja nodded in agreement and immediately took the lead in jumping up to a large tree and started galloping. The remaining 4 people followed, closely behind, the whole group running faster than rabbits. Looking at the 5 people's confused backs as they left, Naruto couldn't help but reveal a trace of a smile on the corner of his mouth. Let them 5 leave. Naruto is not out of mercy. It's just because Tsunade has just ascended to the position of Hokage. If Naruto at this time starts a massacre against the Leaf Village ninja, it will definitely bring some trouble to Tsunade. Or rather, it would put Tsunade in an awkward position. Koharu Yutane and Hamura Midokado, these 2 people, are ninja of the same era as Shimura Danzo and Sarutobi Hiruzen. The 4 of them all belong to Senju Tobarama's personal guard, and were involved in the plan to suppress the Uchiha and destroy the Uchiha. If Sasuke wants to seek revenge on those 2 old men in the future, Naruto will not stop him. Even though Koharu Yutane and Hamura Midokado have not had any dealings with Konoha for a long time, they still have to bear the consequences of their mistakes. Although Tsunade has now succeeded the 5th Hokage, through Tsunade's relationship, Naruto in the future has a great chance to be able to cooperate with Konoha. But it can't be because of this. Naruto just ignore Sasuke. No matter what, Naruto had agreed with Sasuke to accompany him to face it together, even if it meant killing Koharu Yutane and Hamura Midokado. Naruto would help Sasuke guard the pass together. This complicated relationship is really giving people a headache. Naruto helplessly shook his head and slowly walked down the mountain. Konoha. Hokage building office inside. Just a few days into her tenure, Tsunade was sitting at her desk, familiar with the tasks she would have to take over. So many documents to handle. Do I want to spend the rest of my life like this? Tsunade let out a soft sigh, looking at the thick stacks of documents placed beside the table. Only feeling a little regretful for listening to Jiraiya's manipulation to come and do this shitty Hokage. 10 bet money, 10 drink some wine, isn't it fragrant? Losing everything can still be shameless, going to Wave Country to find Naruto and wanting some money back to bet. On the contrary, that kid looked like he was very rich. He casually handed out several million and didn't even blink an eye. Lord Tsunade, please don't be angry anymore. I will always be by your side to help you complete today's work. Shizen put Taunton in her arms on the ground, followed the thick document on top, took out a page, opened it, and placed it in front of Tsunade. Oh, dear. There really is no way, Shizen. Go prepare a jug of wine for me. I can't work without drinking. Tsunade looked resistant, intending to start bargaining. Choke choke, Taunton cried out twice. A large drop of cold sweat falling from his head. He saw through Tsunade's thoughts. He was just making an excuse, not to work. Shizen waved her sleeve with a serious expression. No, Tsunade-sama. This is all this morning's workload. You must complete it. After the third passed away, there was no one to handle these tasks these days. If you still want to drag things out like this, it will only cause more and more work to accumulate in the future. Retire. A figure wearing a silver robe appeared through the window, landed in front of the desk, and knelt down on one knee. Lord Tsunade, it's just as you think. Those two have gathered a large number of ninjas, as if they have something important to do. Tsunade put down the document in her hand and frowned. Indeed, that Jiraiya guy was right. Do those two old men really want to attack Naruto?
BA.
As she spoke, Tsunade slapped the table and stood up. Take me to the past immediately. I must stop them.
Yes.
So? Westleaf Village, a large square. At this moment, a group of people wearing green ninja vests, neatly arranged in several rows, stood on the square. Just looking at that arrangement of heads, I'm afraid there are at least several thousand people or more. The square in front of a place on the high platform, there were two old men wearing white robes who were saying something to the group of ninja. One male and one female. In order were Konoha's high-ranking advisor Koharu Yuditane and Hamura Midokado. Hamura Midokado held a staff in his hand. His eyes calmly glanced over all the ninja in the square and slowly opened his mouth to say, I believe that you all suddenly gathered here. You all already have some speculations in your hearts. That's right. I just received the news last night. Now our Leaf Village ninja traitor Ninetales Jinchuriki Uzumaki Naruto has set foot in the Land of Waves. I ordered you to prepare beforehand. Now it can finally be put to use. The Ninetales Jinchuriki absolutely cannot be left wandering around like this. Even if it means paying a miserable and painful price, we must definitely capture Uzumaki Naruto. Below those thousands of ninja, there were quite a few loyal supporters of Hamura Midokado, who were already raising their hands and shouting loudly. But the more people, the more worried their faces, towards this time going out to capture Uzumaki Naruto's action. Also do not have much confidence. As if seeing the tycoon's worry, Koharu Yuditane took a few steps forward and spoke in a low voice. I know the news that Uzumaki Naruto massacred thousands of people has now spread throughout the entire Konoha village. Many of you are worried. This time we go out to chase Uzumaki Naruto. It might be extremely difficult. But Yen and I have already chosen a few well-prepared ones, with the confidence to be able to hold off Uzumaki Naruto's threat. As for the specific details of the plan, I will carefully inform everyone after we reach the goal. Although he said so, Koharu Yuditane actually didn't have a very good plan in her heart. In short, it's still the same Danzo. Holding Uzumaki Naruto beside him, he threatened him. As long as thousands of people silently arrive at that time, they will definitely be able to capture Hyuga Hinata and Uchiha Sasuke in an instant. Moreover, listening to the two ninja who returned to report, that one was a farmer named Tazana, and his family had a very good relationship with Uzumaki Naruto. But they can also be considered hostage candidates, used to restrain Uzumaki Naruto. The ninja group below the stage heard Koharu Yuditane's words. Their solemn expressions finally softened a bit. At least these two Konoha advisors didn't blindly lead them into battle. With the prerequisite of planning, thousands of people want to capture a traitor ninja. The difficulty is still not that great. Good. Since everyone has no objections, immediately check your luggage and start setting off. Hamura Midokado gave an order.
Yes.
Lord Yen. The mixed team of Umbu and the base ninja agreed together. Immediately, they tightly grasped the bags on their bodies, turned around and prepared to head towards the Konoha main gate. Wait a minute. A loud, domineering shout rang out. Immediately after, a figure wearing a green robe fell straight down from the sky. She lifted her long leg and forcefully chopped down. With a loud bang, the ground instantly cracked open, shattering into deep cracks, blocking the path of the ninjas. It's Suna. This part of the demon power is really terrifying. Isn't it true that among the legendary Sannin, there is no one who is simple? The front row of ninjas retreated one after another, avoiding the gap in the ground, looking at Tsunade with horror. Tsunade slowly raised her head, her eyes filled with anger as she glared at the two people on the high platform, roaring loudly. What the hell do you two want to do? Koharu Yutane and Hamura Midokado glanced at each other. Neither of them were too surprised by Tsunade's arrival. Before Jiraiya brought Tsunade back, he had already explained to these two high-ranking Konoha advisors the reason why Naruto had left the village. Furthermore, the two high-level advisors also knew clearly that Tsunade had now accepted Naruto as her disciple. This also means that Naruto's relationship with Konoha can be reconciled. But Koharu Yutane and Hamura Midokado were still that kind of stubborn old man.
Think.
They just thought that the Nine-Tails Jinchuriki should be dependent on the Konoha's fighting force. And just wandering around like that would never be a good thing. Jinchuriki is a village with the largest fighting force, must come from the village itself.
Control.
Hamura Midokado slowly walked down the high platform, looked at Tsunade and slowly said, Tsunade, we are preparing to lead people to the land of waves to bring back Uzumaki Naruto. Koharu Yutane followed behind him, also slowly opening his mouth. That's right. Tsunade, we didn't discuss this with you, nor do we intend to use the Hokage's direct combat force. These ninjas are all carefully trained combat force by Yen and I over the years. Listening to the two people chattering nonstop, Tsunade only felt more and more angry inside. Her forehead veins popped out. She lowered her head and shouted in a low voice. Then from what you guys are saying, you have absolutely no intention of negotiating with me. The newly appointed Hokage and want to lead people to the land of waves. Hamura Midokado nodded. Tsunade, you just became Hokage, there must be a lot of things you need to get used to. We will finish the Nine-Tails Jinchuriki matter. We will definitely bring Uzumaki Naruto back. Koharu Yutane echoed. The matter of you taking Uzumaki Naruto as your disciple, I know. Don't worry, as long as Uzumaki Naruto doesn't do anything too outrageous. We will not harm his life. Jinchuriki candidates are not that easy to find. The Jinchuriki of the Land of Fire's past generations were all born from the Uzumaki clan.
Go out.
The reason, of course, is because of the Uzumaki clan's powerful bloodline power. Huge chakra energy, very suitable for use as a tailed beast's vessel. But now looking at the entire Hidden Leaf village, except for Uzumaki Naruto.
Currently,
I also can't find any suitable Jinchuriki candidates. Therefore, in Hamura Midokado and Koharu Yutane's plan, they wanted to bring Uzumaki Naruto was captured and imprisoned deep inside. After all, Uzumaki Naruto killing so many ninjas is an impossible fact.
Deny.
This mistake, if not punished, just like that, simply let Uzumaki Naruto go. To the entire Konoha village, there is no way to send a message. Tsunade's body kept shaking, letting out a cold laugh. She raised her head, using her eyes filled with anger to glare at the two high-level advisors. A few steps forward, one hand scratched the collar of the two high-level advisors. Bringing the two of them, they give up. This is really ridiculous. You two old guys really think you can cover up big? Bringing these thousands of people to the land of waves to chase Uzumaki Naruto?
I see. You two just take them to die.
Flower. Tsunade's voice was very loud. Her domineering words reached many people's ears. Under the stage, the large group of ninjas were in an uproar. They didn't expect Tsunade to say such a thing. So come. Although most of the ninja group did not have much confidence in being able to capture Uzumaki Naruto, but being directly broken by this just-turned junior Hokage still made them feel very uncomfortable. Tsunade, let go. What do you mean? Hamura Midokado grabbed her with both hands. Tsunade wrist, frowned and said in a low voice. Koharu Yutane also struggled, looking at Tsunade with an annoyed expression. Hurry up and let go. We're going down. Do you really want to cover up for the traitors in that village? Tsunade used both hands to forcefully throw them out. The two high-level advisors were hit by a bar down to the ground.